Hi, and happy Sunday. It is Sunday, October. Let's see. Let me make sure this is doing its thing here. All right. Yes, I should be on. Oh, there I am. Yay! I wanted to make sure I was muted. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Happy Sunday. Happy brunch. Hi, Melody Harmon. Thank you for being here. Love and light to you as well. Hi, Ann Dillon. Good to see you. Joel Tilson, hello. Rhonda Shank, hello. Kasara's Moon, hi. Happy Thanksgiving to anyone in Canada. Absolutely. Desiree Robato, thank you for being a member. Good to see you. Joel Tilson, thank you for helping out today, our floor director. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the delicious everything. Does everything on the table have to have maple syrup in it? Question by an American. I only had one. Is that the thing? Does everything have to? Just a question. Uh, is that a joke or I don't know? But it seems to be like everything has to have. Well, like the yams and even the turkey, sometimes they will do a yes. Everything has to have. If you go to one of these shindigs, it's just and as for gifts for the Thanksgiving, it's maple bars because if you in case you didn't get enough maple at the party or the dinner. So yes. And maple drinks. Have you guys had these maple drinks with the maple bars? Do you guys know about this? So it's maple sugar, and you put it in the bottom of the drink, and then you pour rum or whatever. And then I don't know what else, and you mix it and you drink it, and it's supposed to make you warm to your nippies. Which sounds lovely if your nippies are cold. Hi, Chris Crowdis. Good to see you. Hi, Joyce Beatrice. Priscilla Chapman and Diana T are in the house. Nancy the Water Chick. Mary Myers. Joanne Smith. Thank you for being members. What is that? Is that a hot toddy? That's a Canadian hot toddy, right? So how do we make it in this? If we don't use maple syrup, how do we do it in the United States? I think we do it different. Canadian hot toddy, a bar of maple syrup, a shot of rum. What all is in a hot toddy? I have no idea. It was made for me at that part. Isn't it? Does it contain butter? Am I wrong about that? In a hot toddy? I seem to recall butter or something. Butter and maple syrup floating and getting tipsy and laughing a lot. It was like buttery maple syrup with alcohol, and no one was complaining. I have no idea what this drink was, but like a hot tot. Oh, so butter. Okay, so I'm not crazy. You can do it with Vermont maple syrup also. Okay, you tried it and it was terrible. You know what? I tried it with people that did not know how to do it, and it tasted terrible. I tried it with people that knew what they were doing, and it tasted hot buttered rum. Yes, Canadian hot buttered rum. I love you, Joel. You're so sweet. You know everything. Canadian hot buttered rum. Thank you. I think the trick is that you have to use you have to not be sparing with the butter. So you take your chunk of maple syrup, or it's the sugar. They give you the sugar candies for the Thanksgiving. Then you put the rum over it, and then you put a chunk of butter. I think that's what it is, right, Joel? And then you whip it. Is that right? Then you whip it and you drink it, and it is so delicious. But I heard also you can make it even stronger. You can do a shot of rum and a shot of vodka. It just tastes to me like waffles. Like, who wouldn't want to drink an alcoholic waffle? Wow. Yeah, now I want to do that again. I want to have that drink again, but I'll tell you why you guys aren't making it right. You got to be generous with everything. You got to be generous with everything. Don't have it if you make it watered down, if you don't put enough butter and maple, it ain't going to be right. If you're going to do a Canadian hot toddy, do it right. All right, let's do the empath prayer, and then we're going to talk about what Joel Tilson is talking about. It's a very complicated subject. How can we help everybody be happy in Israel, Palestine, Gaza? You know, we are peace lovers here. Full disclosure, I'm also an Israeli American. So my country's at war, right? So let's do the empath prayer and let's just have an honest conversation about it. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. Okay, so this is one of those remote views that when I give it to you guys, I always pray, like, what would you like the charity to be? Can you guys decide really fast? Because I forgot to put the charity up. But while we're picking the charity, first off, animals or people? It's up to you guys. We haven't done any. Let's see what's out there. I have some old charities I could put back up so that it goes, so we don't have to waste too much time on this. Yes. Join an existing fundraiser. Let's see what we have here. We have do you guys want to do American Forest and Maui Recovery? Because we only did that one time. So let's keep up with the Maui Recovery. Okay, so the fundraiser is to plant trees in Maui because we only had that for one day. So what appears to have happened is that if you open a map of Israel, what you'll see is that, let me make sure I'm not going to be mirrored here. No. You've got Egypt over here. You've got, excuse me, Gaza. You got Israel. And you've got Syria, Lebanon over here, Jordan. You've got Saudi Arabia over here, right? So what they did, Iraq. So what they did is that Israel began to negotiate a peace deal with Saudi Arabia. And basically, Saudi Arabia said, well, we will do trade with the West Bank, and we will open up trade and immigration to people on the West Bank, and you guys can also immigrate to Dubai, and we'll just help the economy of the West Bank. And the economy theoretically is starting to do better here on the West Bank, and more evolution, hopefully, of opening of visas, right? So we're starting to see some nice movements starting to evolve here. That was objectively how it was supposed to go, right? I shouldn't laugh because it's actually a totally different situation. Over here in Gaza is a different story. This is this area here, you have a couple different wars. You had the 6-Day War, you had the Yom Kippur War, etc. But basically, the takeaway here is that the people in this community are much closer to the Egyptian community than the people over here, which tend to be more closer to the Jordanian community. Then you have the Golan Heights, which was annexed. And those are former Syrians, and they became Israeli citizens. So you have different cultures all coming together, trying to agree on what they want. For example, you won't see much revolution over in the Golan Heights because people were given Israeli passports, and so it's like not our revolution to fight, right? Same with if you're living in East Jerusalem, everybody was given citizenship, and so it's like, yeah, but it's not my same. If you were born inside Israel, if at the time of the partition, you're a citizen, so it's only affecting those people that did not get annexed. So what happened is that when Gaza attacked, they're trying to get people associated with Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is being backed by Iran, and they're trying to get Jordan to get involved, Fatah, right, former PLO. But that's not going to theoretically work out for them because not everybody is in the same situation. Not everybody is in the same situation. What happened in Gaza was that the Israelis left Gaza, and the idea was that Gaza would rule itself, but that didn't happen because Hamas came in, which was supposed to be a charity. It was supposed to be a Muslim charity, but then it developed a military wing, and that's because Iran was coming in. Iran was coming in, and Iran was smuggling weapons via Egypt into Gaza. So there became this proxy war between the Iranians and the Israelis. So instead of Gaza being free, it became occupied by the Iranians. So now Iran is occupying Gaza. So the oppressor of the innocent people of Gaza now is Hamas, in the sense that it's this extremely right-wing extremist group. People have been executed for playing music. And so now the border has to be locked up very tight. And there's multiple entrances in and out of the border on the Israeli side, but there's also a border on the Egyptian side. So it's not that it's a jail, because they can leave through Egypt and they can also leave through Israel. The problem is there's so many security problems. The border is closed on both sides multiple times, and it's become impossible for regular people because of the constant security problems, particularly in the southern border with Egypt, where you have them constantly having to shut down the border because they think weapons are getting into Gaza. So that's the problem. Weapons getting into Gaza, parts for weapons coming in from Iran, and then an Iranian army, basically Hamas, and Hezbollah is also backed by Iran. So we're basically at war with Iran. So you want to be able to step back from that with that information and look at it using HCRV and some of the meditation techniques we've talked about. So how do we fix it? How do we understand it? And how do we fix it? People just want to live their lives, right? So I've talked to Palestinian people who live in East Jerusalem. They come and go. They have Israeli passports, but it doesn't personally impact them. They feel bad, but their business, their life is in Israel. So it's a very, even within Palestinian culture, it's multicultural. And it's very much a feeling, if you look at the energy of Gaza, that they have been completely shut off from whatever the arrangement was between Saudi Arabia and Israel. What about us? What about us? So when you go back into the remote, it feels like a lot of the planning happened about 3-4 months ago, and it was in retaliation to the deal that Israel was making. It's going to be very hard for them to get maybe Hezbollah because it's backed by Iran, but on the West Bank, not everybody wants to be a part of this. They want to get on with their lives, make their money. They're not necessarily gung-ho about this. So that is the bigger picture. Here's the bad part. Here's the bad part. The bad part is we have to ask ourselves, who is backing this attack other than Iran? And who is backing it other than Iran is China and Russia. So China, Russia, Iran, and Syria are allies. So if they find a breach between the West and the East, if there's a breach into attacking the West via the Gaza Strip, this will theoretically attract more foreign fighters. And the concern is that foreign fighters will begin to pour into Gaza from East Asia, Kazakhstan, Chechnyan rebels. Turkey is also backing Gaza to some extent. So you have China, Turkey, Russia to some extent, and you have the West backing Israel because for security reasons, not because most of the money going to Israel is to have Israel be the balance of U.S. trade in the area, right? So our trade partner, the person that's protecting the Mediterranean for us is Israel. And we also give money to Egypt so that they won't blow each other up and we can continue to do our trade, right? But then you have this conflict about trade. And so my concern is that the situation is so hot that it feels to me the conclusion from Netanyahu is that the Israelis will most definitely reoccupy Gaza. That they will go back in and they'll retake Gaza, and because hundreds and thousands of Jewish people have been injured. It would be the equivalent of terrorists bombing us from Mexico City, and hundreds of innocent U.S. civilians, and we would have no choice. We would have to go in. The problem, or what you see with these drug cartels where the military goes in. So that's kind of Israel's feeling, is that we have no choice. We have to go in because Iran is firing on us. It's not the Palestinians. It is the Palestinians are being occupied by an Iranian military that's making their lives hell. So the argument by Israel is you can be occupied by us or you can be occupied by Iran. If you're occupied by us, you can blast your music until 4 a.m. We don't care. But you can't blow each other up. So I anticipate that the Israelis will go in. They will dismantle Hamas, but I don't see them leaving anytime soon. Well, there's also tunnels they have to take in. They have to take out the tunnels. But my concern when you remote view it is that stuff is coming in via the seas. And then when you follow the seas, you think, well, that's Turkey, that's East Asia, that goes back to, and then you start thinking, wow, I hope we're not looking at potentially foreign fighters. Exactly. Innocent Palestinian people are trapped in the middle of this, and they're being used as fodder by Iran. So then Israel is put in the situation where they have no choice to go in. If you're on the West Bank, I think what's slowly starting to happen in the West Bank is that more and more and more liberal, actually. Every time I go there, it's more assimilation, more better economy, more cell phones, more people with more rights. So things are opening up nice and wide with business and oil and music, and all this stuff is happening. A lot of it really positive. And hey, and now we can go to Saudi Arabia and do business, and they're giving us free education, and we're made. And you're stuck in Gaza. What the hell? Remember us? What the hell? So that's what it feels like. I got to turn on my air conditioning. I'm sorry, it's a bit hot. I mean, you see Hezbollah celebrating in Lebanon, but East Jerusalem people are not celebrating. They want to go back to work. It doesn't impact. It's not. They're not a part of this. I think as Americans, we want to paint it as like a wide brush, like the Native Americans. And you have over 500 different nations, right, that are being represented, each with its own culture, language, religious beliefs, customs, different food, different art, etc., right? Completely different. So like any part of the world you go to, Israel, Palestine is very, very diverse. I mean, every religion in the world is represented there. You go, you say, who's the Palestinians? And you meet people that are Greek Orthodox. You meet people that are Sunni. It is the original melting pot, right? It's the original melting pot. Well, some would argue that Netanyahu is glad because now he can really have a right-wing agenda, which is that now everyone's going to approve of the Israelis going in and permanently having permanent occupation of Gaza again. Yes, to some extent, the Palestinians are trapped in the middle of a war zone, and most are just good people trying to live their lives. That's true. Most Palestinians are good people that they just want to live. That's the irony. Well, it depends on where in Palestine. If they're on the West Bank, that's not where they're not in Gaza, so it's not the same area. Let's take a look and see what's going to happen, and also we'll check to see if Netanyahu is going to be out. I just am baffled. If Netanyahu is so good on security, how did this happen on Netanyahu's watch? See, we need Netanyahu. We need Netanyahu. They blamed Golda Meir when we got hit on Yom Kippur. She had to step down as prime minister. Hello? Does anybody remember that? Or am I the only one who actually read those bat mitzvah books? Right? What made Golda Meir have to step down, right? We got attacked on Yom Kippur. So we had a surprise attack on Sichat Torah, right? Because what? They thought that people would be partying. They thought we would, it was a Jewish holiday. They thought we would be drunk, and it was like a 3-day weekend, right? So everybody was shikha. Everybody was drunk, fat, tired, overfed at the party. And so they thought, great, the Jewish people have been partying for weeks. the days of awe. And so we'll go and we'll hit them when they're tired, drunk, and hungover. And so that's I believe why they hit us on Shemona Eretz, Sichat Torah. Israel is going to go in and they're going to dismantle this. So even though it was a surprise attack, the power of the Israeli army is going to be felt very, very quickly. Five of Pentacles, they move very quickly to dismantle their enemies. The other is impoverished, poor, and desperate. Left out in the cold, right? Didn't get represented. Why weren't they represented? Well, we don't want those extremists in Saudi Arabia. We've been expelling extremists, and there are too many extreme religious lunatics in Gaza. So we don't want to offer them a place to live in Saudi Arabia. We'll take your liberal, progressive, modern 21st century East Jerusalem educated Palestinians. They can come live here, but to hell with those villagers in Gaza. That's how it sounds. It's like, excuse us? There's a little bit of that, right? Out in the cold, left behind, out of the Saudi Arabia deal. They have to be included in a new peace deal. Well, Saudi Arabia has to make a gesture. A lot of this had to do with the fact that Saudi Arabia did not include them in they're opening up resources for people that want to have family or want to immigrate. So there has to be a new beginning over this. It's another issue of immigration, right? So if you have a passport and you're in Gaza, no, you can't immigrate anywhere. If you want to go study, if you want to go and get a Saudi passport, which is, 5 years and then apply for Saudi passport and get all these great benefits, yeah, we might open that up to certain people on the West Bank, but it wasn't even offered. These options were not offered. There was an employment protest here too. Another thing that's coming up is lack of job opportunities. So if they were to hire from the West Bank, right, bring in foreign workers, which is another thing, you get visas, right? If you have no criminal record, great, you can fly, you can go to Saudi, you can go to Dubai, you can get rich, the world is your oyster. And what happened here, again, to the people of Gaza is in the cold, inverted Queen of Swords, injustice in the courts. They got screwed over. In contracts, work contracts, education, visas, it had to do with the Saudi Arabian. Let me check and see if Saudi is going to, Saudi has to respond because Saudi is equally responsible from their perspective. I think that they'll eventually have a federal government, Joel. I think, yes, Palestine and Israel will unite with there will be a governing peace body that is similar to a federal government, that we have to abide by certain laws so that open travel and open rights can exist between the states. Yes, that'll eventually happen. We're moving in that direction. Yeah, I feel bad. Can you imagine? Let me see about the innocent people of Gaza, how this is going to happen for them. They feel like they're going to be exterminated. They feel like they're fated. They can't leave. It's a jail. The Egyptian border is closed. The Israeli borders are closed. They're just trying to live their lives. They're not terrorists. They're not even Hamas people. They are just trying to live their lives. So, but you have this fatalism here, like we're dead. We're dead. We accept the fact that they're going to bomb the crap out of us. We accept the fact that we did not participate. A lot of people did not participate in this. So the majority of the people, 70% or more, don't want to even be a part of this. You have this wheel of fortune is like a fatalism. However, from the external world healing, I really think that the Arab community has to make this right to this community and offer some kind of aid and also peaceful passage. It's a war zone. If Iran and Israel are going to make no man's land their backyard, then they should be allowed peaceful passage from the area. They have to be allowed to go somewhere. And you have this Page of Cups moving in, which is an offer of healing, hopes and fears that they're trapped by the devil, right? So this is this, again, fighting between Iran and Israel, and these people are like hostages. Yeah, there's got to be a way to get them out of there. Safe passage. They can get out by boat. So Israel may allow some boats to get out and get safe passage for civilians out of the area. They're taking them north. So people might be able to get safe passage to parts of Israel, I guess. Golan Heights, maybe you would be safe. You know. They're being advised that other countries will come in and give them, some of them will be given permanent places to live, and many Palestinians are being told that their homes are gone forever and that they will have to leave until this situation is dealt with. So I see safe passage, but for many, but unfortunately they will not be able to return to their homes. So many civilians will leave and will not return. You can see here the final outcome is safe passage, and they will leave everything behind. War refugees. The fate of their legacy. The fighting for the land, right? So the fighting continues. So the priority, if you're with the, if you're with NATO, if you're with the UN, is to get as many civilians out safely as possible. They could do boats to get them out as fast as possible. And that's probably what they're going to do. Just get them into the water, get them out of the fighting, and see if they can't get them to safe passage. That card also has a northerly direction, which leads me to think that that's more Lebanon. That's more the north. Middle East Peace Conference. Well, the fact that Russia and China are in the middle of this, don't you think Putin would use this as a peace opportunity to go in with Saudi Arabia? Oh, I want to be part of this peace accord. China gets to be part of the peace accord since they're the ones supplying the weapons. Is there a Middle East peace conference happening? Well, Saudi Arabia actually has done a series of human rights transformations. So it's 1,000 times better. You can drive now, you can work there. A lot of women say that, travelers say that they feel very safe, and it's actually become a really nice country. It's also open to tourism now. So I think it maybe 10 years ago, 5-10 years ago, before the new policies came in, absolutely web, Shiva, but It's in terms of its human rights violations, it went from like 54 to like 20 something in 5 years, which I think is something that they can be really proud of, actually. Not saying that they don't have more work to do, just that, I mean, that's a huge accomplishment. Okay, peace accord. Yes, there will be a peace accord within 6 months. People are fighting for the land, 7 of Wands. High ideals, right? Hopes and fears that their luck will run out. And then the final outcome, Ace of Pentacles, people will be paid not to fight. Okay, so we didn't do it yet, so I think we'll do the community reading before I close today. Is there anything that people want me to be focusing on in the community reading? We've already done the Empath prayer. Health, wealth. All right, let's give everybody, yes, exactly, Joel. I mean, they're the ones that, but it's really mostly Iran. It's mostly Iran. But wouldn't you love to be the hero as Putin? Look, I can come and make everything better. Okay, so we did the community prayer and we'll do the community reading now. All right, this reading applies to everyone that is watching it at the time you're watching the reading. If any part of it doesn't apply to you, it's like a smorgasbord, this table. Just pass it down to the next person. It is a general reading about the energies that we will be facing as a community this week. All right, where you are at right now at this time. In the past readings, we've talked about the fact that Spirit really wants everybody to become insular right now. That there is a kind of violence and a danger in the outside world that is heightened. We talked about feeling that we're under attack by China because of the fentanyl epidemic. Now we have what's going on in the Middle East. It's an overall feeling like, I'm under attack because we are at war. We're at war with cyber wars. We've forgotten how to talk to each other in a respectful manner, right? We need to pull back a little bit socially and do a little bit more inner work, a little bit more meditation. Where we are at right now is the Hierophant, the higher self. What is right? What is wrong? How can we live a more ethical life? How can we come together and agree on a common ethos? Like, how can we help in, support Israel and Palestine, Gaza, West Bank, etc., so that we can come to a peaceful resolution. So innocent people don't get hurt, right? So we're always looking to the higher ethos. New contracts or new commitments lie in your future, possibly in the form of real estate or new structures for your life. So in plainer words, I was watching a really fascinating interview. Pearl, her name is Pearl, and she's a Hasidic Jew. Frida, the tour guide, she gives tours of Williamsburg so that you get to see what Hasidic Jewish life is like. But she interviews this Hasidic woman named Pearl. And it really had an impact on me, even though I'm not a Hasid. But she talked about the importance of, if you really want to know a spiritual life, You have to intentionally, to some extent, insulate yourself from the world. Do it intentionally so that you can protect yourself from certain things, and not to be in denial about the world. You want to be educated about the world, but you also want to love yourself enough to be careful that you're not around things that are toxic. So a hierophant is the base of the matter leads me to think that many of us are challenging our ethics. We're challenging, do we live a life that's, insular, protected, in a positive way? Uh, you know, uh, uh, are we keeping our home clean? Are we keeping our house in order? Karma cards have to do with real estate. The karma card, Three of Pentacles, the life or that you're building for yourself, possibly the home that you're building for yourself, and the ethics. Also, 12 steps. Are you building a foundation based on morals, ethics, the 12 steps, etc.? Over the next 30 days, many of you will begin to do good spiritual work and good work over your businesses, so long as you remain aligned with your values. You can see here again, the base of your matter is what are your ethics, and whatever you construct has to be based on those ethics. And so we can see here the 30-day period, and that's because wands are based on dendrochronology. Their suit is fire. Fire burns. And so in Chinese medicine, it's associated with fire and wood. Fire and wood. And Aries, Mars, right? Well, also Sag and Leo, but the fire signs. And so it has aspects of passion, fire. Again, because of all of the suits, if you're looking to date something, people who read cards say we can't date anything. But I would argue that wands, we do read as months. So we're talking about a really good start for you over the next 30 days if you remain focused to your values and your incentives about what it is you want to do going forward. Go back to what you love and the people you love for inspiration. Stay close to family, friends, and those people who give you good nachas. They give you good inspiration, good positive energy. The Justice card stands in your fourth house, which would be, again, a sense of justice and righteousness leads you this month. You defend those things which you believe in, what sits in your heart, to defend your values. What sits in your past, a desire to create. So many of you have this beautiful artistic energy coming in. And many of you could make money as artists with a nice Knight of Pentacles coming in as a reaction to the Empress in the sixth house. So some of y'all could be making some money here as artists. Where you're at right now, your cup overflow with your wish, whatever you wanted has been granted. And you have money associated with your wish. Good, your finances will be good. Your hope and fear at this time that things are not as they were. The old ways are gone. There's a fear of death. Wow, I'm not who I was. Give yourself permission to grow. And what you're growing into is up to you based on your own values, your own ethics, and the commitments of your day-to-day life determine who you will be tomorrow. Don't fear the future. Make decisions today that help you create the future that you want. The final outcome for you is smoother waters lay ahead if you trust yourself. The clarification over you for the next few weeks. Your wish has been granted over love and a happy home. Spend time in your home, creating a beautiful living environment for yourself. Keep your home as clean, organized, and spotless as you can. The Queen of Pentacles reminds us to be organized, and that the best businesses are businesses that are clean and organized. Avoiding chaos is the concern, and they're saying that concern, chaos, and disorganization is having a direct impact on your ability to make money. An account and a reckoning is advised. Be able to do an account and a reckoning of what you have, decide what you want to keep, what's worth holding on to, and what's worth letting go of. If you do that, you will be okay financially. That's your reading. It's quite a reading today. What do y'all think about that? I think that the reason Spirit is using a lot of these images is because the world is so unstable right now that many of us do feel that we just need, oh my God, I'm barely, even if it's not true, we have this fear that we're barely holding on because the outside world is so disturbing. And that is, again, why the readings keep saying, you know what, you don't need to be watching about what's going on in the Middle East for 24 hours a day. Uh, you know, live a good life, be a good person, keep your own home safe and secure, help when you can, but it doesn't help anybody for you to do that. And it's actually detrimental to you. 10, 20 minutes a day, that's all the news you need. What's going on? Okay, got it. I know who I have to pray for. I know which political party I need to donate to, right? But other than that, get back to the business of controlling your own life because you got your hands full, right? Okay, let's do some more blitzes. So, Matt Gaetz be expelled from Congress. You know, John, a lot of people cannot figure out how that guy is not kicked out, given his, I mean, just talk about some creepy stuff with him. But let's take a look. Matt Gaetz. See, I see sobriety over Matt Gaetz. The last time that we did a tarot reading over Matt Gaetz, it came up that he just he was all about getting sober. A new beginning starts for him. Things are happening very quickly with his life. Hopes and fears, the Six of Pentacles. Final outcome, the Hierophant. See, like the 12 steps. He has put himself in a red tape situation. There are secrets around him that could break, more secrets. These secrets that are coming out about Matt Gaetz could change his career abruptly and force him to have to address his problems. The red-faced king is ethos. Major changes happening by this spring. He's given aid. You know what? It's almost like the guy gets an intervention or something. Something's going on with him. It'll be interesting to see if that happens. Okay. Will Matt Gaetz be expelled from Congress? We did that one. Okay. After Putin's ouster. After Putin's oh, you mean who will come after Putin? You know, let's take a look at Putin in general because he really has destroyed Russia and everyone's miserable. And evidently, the oligarchs can't stand him. Let's see. If you could like and subscribe, I would be greatly appreciative. Thank you very much. And we are raising money to grow trees, to plant them in beautiful Lahaina. If you would like to help, thank you. If you're having a good time, think about donating to the trees of the world. Yes. If you don't see the charity, just refresh I did add the charity. So we're doing AmericanForest.org so people can continue to donate for the trees. Putin kills his opposition, Joel. He takes the sword away from his enemies. Look at that, Joel. Well, how are his enemies doing? How are Putin's enemies doing? There's Putin's enemies. Yeah, let me take this sword from you. You are making problems. There can only be one top dog. I take the sword away. There you go. All better now. Hopes and fears that his time is ending. He will continue to, 7 of Wands, defend his territory. It's also the 7th month. 7 more months he may have. Let's take a look. An angry, violent Putin in the coming weeks attempts to dismantle his enemies. His betrayed, stabbed in the back enemies are making alliances with other people. So his big problem is that a lot of unhappy Russians are selling information to the West. Hopes and fears, confusion about his time. It's gotten to a point like Stalin where he doesn't even know who he can trust. His final outcome is research. He's constantly coming up with new ways to attack and control. It's all about he must be the top dog. He must remain the top dog. Well, this is the other thing, Kathy. If you look at us being at war, if you look at the Opium War, when Britain was pushing opium deliberately on the people of China, making them addicts, how did China respond to the Opium War? Severely punishing the dealers and the addicts both. They basically killed everybody. It's next to impossible to stop an opium war if a fentanyl trank laced pill is only 80 cents right now. So what China is doing is they're flooding US streets with free fentanyl. It's basically free, 80 cents to die. Here, you want to die? 80 cents. So many people are being given these drugs that are so cheap. We're talking about an opioid 100 times stronger than heroin. That the amount of Narcan, we don't have enough of the antidote here in Portland to deal with it. I mean, I was reading about one healthcare provider. He said that he went to a park to rehabilitate a guy, and it was the 3rd time that day. He's like, "Oh, come on, man! 3 times I got a dose you." The guy would get treated, he'd get released, he'd go get enough because your free will is gone. It's not like you know what you're doing. You're a zombie. The drug makes you a zombie. You do not have the capacity for free will. And so we have to be allowed to, if we want to save these people's lives, we have to be able to basically arrest them and hold them, or they will die. They don't have, there is no, the drug does not give you free choice. That's the terrifying thing. So at this point, I think we will probably, I mean, I feel like I'm Debbie Downer. At this point, it's so bad that I think they're going to have to bring in the National Guard in certain areas. And they have to bring in hazmat suits to some of these portable areas. And this stuff is extremely dangerous and addictive. So I think that is the biggest war I see in front of me, to the point where people are afraid to walk down the streets now in downtown Portland, Philadelphia, anywhere. And you see what's going on in the Middle East right now. It's just a very hot time, and I think that that's why all the meditations are talking about stay close to home, keep yourself, take care of your nutrition, don't have major spending right now. Just lay low for the next couple of weeks until this blows over. Insulate yourself, protect yourself, pray if you're a praying person for peace and for cooler heads, and but keep your own house in order and limit the amount of negativity in your environment. If it's safe in your neighborhood, go spend time in nature, go for a walk, say hi to your neighbors, but keep your energy basically low stress. All right, what's going to happen in Iran? They're looking at new business contracts, probably with Russia. New financial contracts. You can see here and here, here, and a new guy in town. So it's all about new business with they're worried that certain business deals will not go through because of the current crisis. I don't understand. Either they helped plan it, or part of them, the business people in Iran, are concerned about how business deals will be impacted, because they were slowly trying to work on a new diplomatic relationship with the United States. Biden returned some money back to them. It was this idea, what can we do to diffuse, to get Iran to stop giving weapons to Russia, etc. So there was this idea that maybe we could move towards a new relationship. And perhaps there were moderates in Iran that really hoped that was going to happen. But in the middle of this crazy, the extremists are winning. And so that is creating potential problems for future peaceful or normalization of relationships between Iran and the United States right now. But not everyone in Iran supports this, because a two of cups would indicate as an outcome that they very much want to open up business with the West. Yeah. I can't respond about the eclipses. I'm not an astrologer, though. I have seen some good astrologers. What's his name? I saw what's his name? I saw his astrology. He was talking about Israel yesterday. Well, I hope so. I hope when Xi and Putin are removed. But I think the bigger issue, Joel, is that we have to have stopgaps. That if a country just has one person in charge and they've got access to nuclear weapons, then that's very dangerous. And so the bigger concern is, what are we doing as a planet to make sure that nuclear weapons don't fall into the hands of somebody like Kim Jong-un? And that's the greater question. Tyrants come and go, but do we have safety? Do we have safety in place to make sure that that doesn't happen? Yeah. Andre, yes, Andre is a very good reader, and I think he's an intellectual too, so he does a great job. We'll do one more. Will Judge Cannon be removed? She is not looking too good, is she? She gets into a lot. Oh, nobody noticed that my cough stopped, by the way. Yeah, the allergy. I find it stopped blooming that stuff. Nobody even noticed. Never mind. Judge Cannon. She could face some kind of situation that limits her options going forward, Joel. There's a Five of Swords to take away. one's power, movement, hopes and fears that she's walking away. And then a Knight of Pentacles would be an ending, or that things have been slowed or stopped. Leads me to think that something's going to happen with Judge Cannon that's going to prevent her from being able to have much to do with Trump's future. All right. Thank you, everybody. It was fun hanging out with you. If you need to see me for a reading, please check out the information below, tarotwithwhimsy.com, or the Booksy app. The information's below. Or I can do a pre-made Wizio video for you. I'm actually doing some of those today, and hopefully they'll get out soon. All right. Thanks, everyone. Be kind to all so that all can be kind to you, too. We'll see you next time. Be well. Bye.